So, this is cute, the little cloud count. That's fun. So, uh, your choice for the science activity is great because clouds are wonderful. Kids just have to look up and they change shape, and they're a great thing to use in a classroom. So, that's wonderful. Um, and um, there was one thing in it when I read it over that I wanted you to just um, think about. So you're um, basically doing a one-to-one correspondence activity with cotton balls and the clouds. That you're, if I understand this correctly. So um, this would actually be a math lesson plan, and I'm going to let you swap it out. So don't worry. um, what you could do to make this a science lesson is first just go outside and talk about clouds, look up at clouds for several days. You could do this over a long period of time, and just write down all the fun things that the kids say about the clouds, and then maybe let them have paper and pen and or markers, excuse me, and crayons, and see if they want to try to draw clouds or draw things that they would see in clouds. And that kind of thing. So you can still do clouds for science, and you should. It's wonderful. So I don't want you to panic when you hear me say this. So you've actually done a lesson plan, so that's good. Check it off. I'm just going to ask you to make a few shifts in this, because doing one-to-one correspondence and pretending cotton balls are clouds is great. There's no problem with that whatsoever. Um, so just be really careful about the worksheets. If you teach in a public school kindergarten, you can use worksheets, because this is a worksheet for a kindergarten class. I don't know what environment you're going to use this in, so if I'm wrong and you're not using it with kindergartners, please take the worksheets out. Like, worksheets do not belong in early childhood classrooms at all. I know they're in public school kindergartens, though, so I just want to be sure that just let me know if that's the case. So if you're doing this in a kindergarten classroom, you could do this. It would be no problem at all. I just, in the grouping, it says their ages 2, 3, and 5. 2 to 3.5, excuse me. So I'm thinking you're not in a kindergarten. I'm just making sure. Kindergarten worksheets should never be used with anybody, but they really shouldn't be used in kindergarten, to be honest with you. But when we didn't used to, public schools have changed, unfortunately. But 2 to 3.5-year-olds, you really cannot do that. So I don't know what's happening in your workplace. Perhaps that happens in your workplace, and I know there are early childhood centers out there that are doing things like this, but it's not appropriate, and you can't use it for your lesson plan here, because I have to, the rubric and my own personal standards ask me to make sure that these are all appropriate for young children. What would be appropriate is to change this and just have the cotton balls, and I would say take pictures of clouds and then have the kids put the cotton on the clouds, and you could do some fun counting with them while they're doing it, but not really expect that they could count yet. You're just modeling counting and having fun with it, with the language with them. So it's not appropriate. Also, this identifying numbers and count from 1 to 10 are actually two separate things. So you want to choose one of those. If they're identifying what numbers look like, then just do that. Or if you want them to give them 10 cotton balls and have them pretend to count to 10, that's fine too. So just choose one or the others of those. It's really hard when you're writing lesson plans in the beginning. I used to do this all the time, and my director would send it back to me and say, you've got 4 lessons in here. Choose one to write up. So I understand it's really hard to get used to that, but just pick one of those. Um, and then definitely, in terms of the standards that you're addressing, um, this is fine. Just let them play with the cotton balls. I would suggest that you remove the worksheets if you are doing early childhood activities, not kindergarten, and also have pictures of clouds, not the cartoony drawings like you have here. But I would suggest you, even for your science lesson, then just do a science lesson to accompany this, where you go outside and look at clouds and talk about the different kinds of clouds that you see. Some of them are long and you can barely see them. Some of them are big and fluffy like a cotton ball, that kind of thing. And then you can extend that into a literacy lesson by having some kind of a book about clouds. So there you've got your lesson plans. So I hope this is helpful. You just mainly have to make a few decisions here to tweak this. I'm not going to grade it. I'm going to let you make the changes and then resubmit it. It won't be late or anything like that. And let's call this your math lesson plan. It's fine with me. I don't care what order you guys do these. So, okay? All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Send me an email if it doesn't make sense. And I'll try to be more helpful.